So, we're moving on from the previous segment about how XQC is one of the worst streamers on Twitch to another awful Twitch streamer who is unfortunately aggressively popular for how awful they are. And that is Hasan. I used to like Hasan, or at least, like, not really enjoy- I didn't really watch a lot of Hasan's content. It was like, it just wasn't really up my alley. I didn't hate it, but I'd like throw it on from time to time. It just wasn't really my thing, you know? It wasn't my type of content, but I respected it. You know, I respected Hasan. There was a time when I even went on to Destiny's stream to ask him why the Hasan Destiny schism happened, and to ask him if there, like, why was that the only way it could go down? And of course it was Hasan who actually burnt that bridge, believe it or not. Regardless though, I used to have a lot of respect for Hasan, right? Like, even if he probably didn't like me very much, if he even knew who I was, I had a fair amount, right? I'd even defend Hasan mostly during the dramas that would occur. Thing is though, his takes on foreign policy proceeded to get worse and worse and worse, and that was only after his defense and continued infractions of content theft, some of the most blatant and shameless shit you can imagine. Obviously, the playing another YouTuber's video and then getting up and walking away to go to the store and buy groceries for like an hour while the video plays. Like, he'll be talking to his chat with a video paused, say, wait a second, I gotta go to the bathroom, play the video, and then get up and go use the bathroom while the video plays. And then upload that in the video as part of the reaction. This is by far the least serious of issues I have with Hasan, though. While it is a problem, it's very much like an internet drama issue. What really made me incapable of tolerating Hasan or people who defend or make excuses for Hasan was his foreign policy takes. When we started to see strong evidence that Russia was going to invade Ukraine, we were able to see troop movements. We were able to see armored vehicles, hospital tents, and we were even able to find out that they were transporting blood bags to the border of Russia and Ukraine. All of these things pointed to a very clear, imminent invasion, but Putin and Russia's oligarchy were saying they were simple training exercises and that no invasion or combat was going to happen. They were just training exercises. Of course, everybody, notably on the left, knew this wasn't the case, and that this was obviously going the same way as what happened with Crimea back in the day, that Russia's doing the same thing all over, and it's very clear what's about to happen. And so Hasan started accusing everybody who said that Russia would invade Ukraine of being a pro-war, liberal war hawk. List all the, like, tanky insults, right? Just started, like, throwing out those insults, right? And what he started doing was each day that passed where Russia had not yet advanced into Ukraine, he would title his stream, Russia Still Hasn't Invaded Ukraine, Day Whatever. And that went on for like 12 days, I think, where there was like quote-unquote ambiguity around whether or not Russia was going to invade. But then they did. Then they did. No one was surprised except for people like Hasan, and Hasan looked really, really dumb. So he had to walk it back. Here's the thing, though. Hasan isn't pro-Ukraine. No matter how much his defenders in my comments or on Twitter want to say that he is, he's not pro-Ukraine. So he didn't walk his position back and say, oh, I'm wrong, okay, yeah, Russia's bad for doing this and everything. He instead, proceeded to say these following things. I don't actually know if I have the clips in order or not, but I feel it's important to show both of these. I believe this was what he said after the invasion actually began.
What's wrong with NATO expansion? If majority population voted in favor, would that mean NATO expansion is justified? In that circumstance, NATO is 1000% an aggressor outside fucking force, okay? Russian. Russia is not. Russia annexing its own fucking territory that it's had, that its own territory full of its own fucking people is not the same as NATO being like, we're going to turn your country into a fucking base and put literal fucking
That's a Russian state propaganda point, by the way. The idea that the land that they were annexing was full of Russian people and that they wanted to join Russia. Completely made up Russian state talking point he was parroting there. Utter
military
bullshit.
bases and rockets into your country.
Hi.
That is not the worst of the clips by any means. I'm actually glad I played them in this order, so the worst one is actually the second one to play. And there's way worse than this as well. There's way worse than this. He had to continuously walk back these takes. And he has now doubled down even harder, but in a really slimy way, which we'll get to in a moment. That's why I'm talking about this today.
But, like, you feeling bad about the Crimean annexation does not change the reality of the Crimean annexation being a completely justifiable fucking act by the Russian government, okay? So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties at first? Yeah, dude. Talk to me when he's fucking throwing Ukrainians in a fucking... What are you talking about? Talk to me when he's throwing Ukrainians at a concentration camp, okay? Hitler wasn't fucking bad because he decided to invade Austria. He was bad because he was fucking killing Jews, okay? That was the problem. He wasn't like, oh yeah, we're gonna fucking annex territory with like Germanic people in it. That wasn't the main problem with Hitler, I think. That was like
it was
maybe
a problem
eighth down the line.
I'd say imperialism was actually pretty high up on the line, actually. Like Hitler did bad things, and they were really, really bad. But he did, like... But that's, like, pretty high up on the list. Like the imperialism was how he accomplished doing those things on a wider, larger scale. So I'd say it's really high up on the list is the invading and, like, putting other nations under your heel. It's, like, a big part of why the Nazis were bad and why Hitler was bad. Regardless, though... He kept on having to walk it back day by day as, like, it became more and more obvious how awful Russia is. But at every turn, he was still parroting some form of Russia state propaganda. Now, recently, Dylan Burns has been in Ukraine. And by in Ukraine, I mean volunteering to, like, save people and animals from, like, communities that have been bombed and flooded by, like, broken dams. He has been shelled. Like, actually shelled. He has been shelled multiple times by the Russians now. I saw a video today where he's walking down the street, and he's talking to the camera, and all of a sudden there's a loud bang, and he's like, he gets, like, into cover, and he looks out, like, across the street, and you can see smoke rising, like, 4 blocks away. 4 fucking blocks away. And then there's another video where he was covering some American, like, domestic politics here on stream, like a proper, like, on the computer stream, but he's still in Ukraine. And all of a sudden you start to hear and, like, a loud noise, like something's flying ahead. And he just, like, stops, like... He just fucking... Oh. Uh-oh. Hold on, I think I can fix this. It's okay. Damn it. Uh-oh. No, this is fixable. This is fixable. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. It's fixable. We're okay. Yeah, my headset flies off my head every time I dare to, like, bend over or take, like, a quick movement or whatever. No, it hit the ground and broke. It full on hit the ground and broke off, but it's meant to break like that on purpose. Anyway, the video is literally, like, Dylan just hearing that and then immediately... like, bolting away off camera, probably to go into a shelter. He has, like, very much been on the ground witnessing and documenting these war crimes that Russia's been committing. And because he's in Ukraine, and because he's met and talked to and hung out with so many Ukrainian leftists while he's there, he decided to join with them so that they could speak out against Hasan, an American leftist Twitch streamer who is speaking over them and for them and refuses to allow any Ukrainian voices on his platform to speak because he doesn't want any anti-Russia anything to be said on his platform. So Dylan Burns went through the work in a country that is actively under siege, yeah, leftist in quotes, to get a group of Ukrainians together to review Hasan's video and let them speak. Let them give their opinions on the Russian talking points he repeats. And this is said video, and we'll get into Hasan's response to it, which I truly think solidifies how bad of a person Hasan truly is in a moment. But here's a clip from said video that Dylan Burns put out. He posted this on Twitter.
NATO is 1000% an aggressor outside fucking...
Oh, yeah, and these are the Ukrainian leftists that Hasan got to, or not Hasan, Dylan got together to, like, give their takes on Hasan's takes. You know, having actual Ukrainians speak and give their opinions instead of the giant, insanely wealthy millionaire, largest political pundit on Twitch that refuses to let the people who are actually being invaded have a word to say about it. Let's watch.
Force, okay? Russia is not. Russia annexing its own territory full of its own fucking people is not the same as NATO being like, we're gonna turn your country into a fucking base and put literal fucking military bases and rockets into your country.
Saying that Russia is grabbing their territories is a total bullshit. They are grabbing the territories of what, Soviet Union, the empire that collapsed? People there identified themselves as Ukrainians, especially my generation.
Hasan here basically called me and Rick specifically literally Russians. He called us Russians just because we are from the Russified areas that were
But that's Russian propaganda, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you. That's where I'm going. The repeating of Russian narrative. They say those people are Russians. They speak Russian. That means they're Russian. They're part of the Russian world. This is the imperialism, colonialism that this guy supposedly hates.
The video itself is very good, and if you guys want, we can, like, watch it on stream, but I would honestly recommend you guys just check it out on your own. They show, like, it's literally just clips of Hasan defending Russia and doing anti-Ukraine talking points repeated directly from Russian state propagandists, like almost word for word, them responding to it and knowing where Hasan got it from. Now, here's the thing, though. Hasan, it's been a couple days, responded. And Dylan Burns posted the clip. Now, if you still had a shred of hope that Hasan cared at all about anything other than making money and virtue signaling clout off of lefty politics domestically in order to push people towards his tanky politics, well, prepare to have that hope dashed as he responds to Dylan Burns. Here is his response to Dylan.
For those of you who said, chat, has he responded to Dylan Burns' post, by the way, before getting clapped? If you think that I would entertain such a psychotic thing ever in my life, I don't know what to tell you. There is nothing more perverted and psychopathic than literally putting Ukrainian people in Ukraine that are being fucking bombed, okay, by an invading
Yeah, Hasan was banning people asking about the video.
Force that is unjustifiably occupying their country, making Ukrainians sit down and fucking watch my clips out of fucking context in a way that you have framed it.
So, literally, one of the people there is an ex-Hasan fan. He literally just gave the mic to Ukrainians to let them respond to Hasan's positions. And this is how he frames it. He's finally admitting, by the way, that they're having their nation invaded by an imperialist power. But he says it in such a way as to criticize someone making a video correcting his Russian propaganda. He is willing to very, very lightly criticize Russia indirectly through infantilizing Ukrainians as a way of defending himself and his propaganda. It's very slimy and insidious.
By an invading force that is unjustifiably occupying their country, making Ukrainians sit down and fucking watch my clips out of fucking context in a way that you have framed it to have them go, oh, wow, how fucked up, fuck this guy. It is literally the most unimaginably insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It completely betrays how much you care about the conflict that you are covering on the ground. It's nasty as fuck. It's such a weird, psychopathic thing to do, especially considering that I have time and time again, over and over again.
You can see the whole chat spamming yep. The whole chat just falls in lockstep.
And repeated my position, okay, that it is completely unjustifiable to invade Ukraine. Russia is cruel.
Isn't it interesting how I just showed clips that go through different layers of his, like, backpedaling, his first initial statements and his backpedaling? And now he's, like, pretending that he was never defending Russia?
For doing such an act. And that Ukrainians, of course, have a just cause for emancipation. Not only that, but I've also raised money for Ukrainian refugees. This community has raised $300,000 for Ukraine.
This alone proves to me that every charity stream he does is simply to, like, deflect criticism. The fact that he's just made this argument alone shows that he only does the charity shit because he has the excess income to invest that money in the ability to defend himself against criticism. It's a tax write-off and an investment for him. This guy's takes are only ever good about the most basic bargain bin domestic policies like LGBT rights, which he's not even good at arguing for, by the way. Have you seen Hasan debate trans rights? He's not good at it. And, like, he's pro-BLM and whatnot. Like, sure, yeah, that's most Americans are there, where Hasan's positions are. He's just a dude, bro, who, like, is able to talk about popular social issues in such a way that's entertaining to the average fridge temp IQ Twitch viewer. And he's just harbored one of the dumbest left-wing communities on the entire internet.
Ukrainian refugee.
And one of the most toxic, funnily enough. His Discord, like, he lied to Ethan Klein and said that he wasn't in his Discord server. He is. That was just an outright lie he told Ethan Klein. And he had to recently, in response to drama he had with Ethan during the, like, Israel-Gaza stuff, he had to shut down his Discord because people were his fans were organizing raids on Ethan's platforms through his Discord. His fans literally were organizing raids in his Discord server. And he lied to Ethan and said he wasn't in it, despite the fact that literally the day before there were messages from his Discord where he's making announcements. Plus, I joined his Discord back in the day, and he was in that Discord. He made that Discord. It is his Discord. It was at least a couple years ago last time I checked it. I'm still in there, I'm pretty sure. At this point, Leftovers is over. I'm glad that's the case. I don't think that H3 needs to send any more of his more normie leading audience anywhere near Hasan's way. Dude, it sucks so much how much of a Hasan simp Ethan's co-host guy, the guy behind the mic, the guy behind, like, the camera or whatever, the Jamie dude, I think his name is. Is it Jamie? Dan? His name's Dan? Yeah. He was all, like, bitchy when H3 was hurt by Hasan's actions and said he's going to at least pause Leftovers. Dan's a tanky? God damn it. Sorry, I was thinking Joe Rogan. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll let this whole clip play in its finality.
Of course, have a just cause for emancipation. Not only that, but I've also raised money for Ukrainian refugees. This community has raised $300,000 for Ukrainian refugees.
It's a virtue signal.
It is so insane to do a Jubilee video on this, okay? I don't know what to say. It basically betrays the position that you have. Like, oh, I genuinely care about this. That's why I went out there. Not because I'm like a fucking war tourist pervert, but I
Bro accused Dylan of being a war tourist pervert. I forgot about that detail of the clip. That's why I brought up the instances of Dylan getting shelled by the Russians as he's volunteering and doing on-the-ground journalism in Ukraine. He accused him of being a pervert war tourist. Yeah, so for those that don't know, Hasan's the one that kind of, like, popularized the whole accusing people who ever do debates on the left of being perverts. The whole debate pervert thing comes from Hasan. Hasan does more, like, I'm pretty sure Hasan has done more debates than Dylan, too, right? Like, Dylan doesn't really do that many debates. He does them, but, like, he does news. That's his content. He's a journalist. He does news. He'll argue with propagandists. Jesus Christ.
I went out there, not because I'm like a fucking war tourist pervert, but I went out there because I care about these people. So what am I doing? I'm like fucking using this as an opportunity to be like, yeah, look how bad this guy is. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, expect to see significant schisms in the lefty online sphere. There is a large part of the online left that, at the very least, regardless of whether or not they agree with Hasan, will defend him and burn bridges over defending him. He carries a lot of power, he's got a lot of clout, and becoming a waiting room for Hasan fans, like a Hasan waiting room, is like a career maker. for a lot of small, like, lefty streamers on Twitch and on YouTube, and expect to see the, like, Hasan really making it clear that he's a tanky and that's the part of the left that he's on, and he does not accept any other part of the left, and he considers other parts of the left opposite of him. Expect there to be schisms. Because I've seen, like, the arguments on Twitter. Like, I know that, Frogan was having shit takes defending Hasan on this. Like, I've seen it already happening on Twitter. Thank God. Thank God. I have, like, I got banned from Twitter, and I had, like, a monk-like, retreat from the internet, and I was able... Yeah, Frogan's a Hasan mod. She's, like, one of the, like, simp sphere. I had, like, this monk-like retreat from Twitter. Atop a mountain, just breathing the cool wind and meditating, and I've realized all this shit is stupid as fuck. So let's sit back, laugh at it, make fun of it, and certainly not get emotionally invested in it. Because if you just sit back and you enjoy the chaos, then you learn to like the online left. You actually learn to like it. Because there's always something going on. Anyway, fuck Hasan. I'm glad he's finally being recognized for the piece of shit he is. Once again, I was right all along about Hasan. Not all along, but for a long time now, I've been anti-Hasan with a lot of pushback from even you guys. And now, pretty much everybody on this side of the left realizes I was right. Once again, I was right. I was wrong first, but for a long time, I've been right.